All right, yo, peace. Pretty sure I'm live. It says I'm live or whatever. So my name is Ali. If you're not familiar with me, my website is salimyers.com. And there's a couple reasons why I'm making this live broadcast today. First reason is I recently did a survey with my network, and there's the people on my email list. And in that survey, the last question was, do you have any questions for me, or do you just want to say what up or whatever? I always usually, if I ask my network to do a survey, I usually end it with, if you got questions or you want to say what up, let me know. And from that, for real, I didn't think it was gonna be that many people, but I want to say about almost 200 people took the survey, and of that, I got about 40 questions. So I wanted to document it on this video so I can share it with my network, and also the people that subscribe to my YouTube can benefit from it as well. So I think I'm good. I see people popping in. Peace. What's good, y'all? What's good? I don't know if the chat works and all that stuff or whatever. The second reason that I wanted to do the live thing is, to be honest, I've been talking about doing live for a minute. So far I've done it live on Facebook. I see how Instagram live works, but I've never done YouTube live. So once I go live, I'm going to do something weekly, and more than likely it's going to be some sort of Q&A, question and answer. But unlike today where I have the questions already, I prefer to do it live in the flesh, like people call in or, put the comment down, read it and say it then. But unfortunately, since this is already set in stone, I got about 40 questions. I don't know how long I'm gonna be out here, so I'll figure it out. But if I get done with everything and people got questions, I don't even know how I'm gonna read the questions. I don't see the comment box. But that's the second reason why I wanted to do it live, just to see how the technology works and everything. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Hopefully people that sent me a question, you're either watching it live or you'll see it when I send it to the email. First question is, I would like more information on your courses. That's real simple. I ain't gonna spend time doing no advertisement. You feel me? salimyers.com. You can click on online or click on events, and that'll point you towards all my online offerings. Only thing I have that's in the flesh right now is the Sogo Spiritual Retreat. We just did that this past April, and we're going to do it again next April. But other than that, I have a bunch of classes online. The newest feature is what I call the master class, where it's going to be a new class every 2 weeks. Very affordable, but more than anything, it's very powerful. I've seen the most breakthroughs when I work with people either one-on-one or in classroom settings. So the master class will allow people to have access to me and get the information beyond rhetoric and theory that's going to take you to the next level. .com, click on class, you can find out everything about that. Nuts question is just to help me remember my dreams, also removing bad spirits. Remembering your dreams, that's a multi-layered question. Just some general things you want to look at is like, look at your diet. If you clean up your diet, that's one of the quickest ways to recall your dreams, especially if you get a lot of alkaline foods, and alkaline are just natural fruits and vegetables, a lot of water, and staying away from red meat and a lot of pork and all that heavy stuff or whatever. But the simplest thing that you can do to, quick start your joint quick is change your diet. I know I've had the most profound dreams when I was doing juice fasting. And so if you really want to take it to the extreme, do a juice fast or a water fast or something like that. But switching your diet, very beneficial. Also some supplements. I like Klamath Blue Green Algae is a very good supplement for dream recall. Also monatomic gold is another good one that I recommend for dream recall is mugwort. And if you want to drink it or smoke it, mugwort by itself is very good for dreams. A combination I like to use, I actually did a YouTube video on this, is mixing mugwort and Motivite. Put it in a pouch and put it under your pillow. Motivite and mugwort together, put it in a pouch and put it under your pillow. That'll help you with dream recall as well. Last tip, because there's like 30 million of them. Last tip is like drink some water before you go to sleep, like a good amount of water before you go to sleep. What you'll notice is you'll have to wake up probably a few hours after you fall asleep, And when you wake up, more than likely you have a dream in the front of your consciousness. So it's a kind of a way of hacking your system, so to speak. You drink water, you're gonna have to pee, you know. So if you wake up a few hours, more than likely that dream's gonna be in the forefront of your mind. Also, removing bad spirits. Um, Bad spirits, like that's a very general term. When you say that, I'm thinking you might mean like bad ghosts or something like that. We're not talking poltergeists or demonic possessions or anything like that. There's nothing I can tell you over YouTube. You know what I'm saying? To be like, oh yeah, get rid of a demon, put some garlic on a stick and just wave it. You know, it don't work that way. But if you got some like negative energy in the crib, what I recommend is just simply talk to them like they're people. Because guess what? More than likely they are people, and treat them like children, but sort of like but with more respect. So what you can do is just tell them like, hey, yo, I know you're there. Leave, or I need you not to bang, or I need you to stay away from my children. Just literally talk to them. I remember when my youngest son was dealing with a lot of activity at night. He's very sensitive or whatever to energies. And he was waking up a lot, complaining about ghosts and spirits in his room and the closet, all that good stuff or whatever. So what I did was I talked to them and I told them and I set boundaries and barriers like, yo, don't mess with my child when he sleep. Hey, yo, don't scare my child, you know, just started talking to him like a regular person, but with enough authority to let them know that I ain't playing or whatever. So you have to come from a level of a certainty. But after that, it subsided, you know. So just talk to them like they're regular people if you're dealing with any negative energies in the crib. Next question. Do you do tarot cards or something of that sort, which would give me some personal guidelines on my life? Yeah, I use tarot cards when I need to. I do one-on-one consultations, mostly as psychic intuitive. I'm developed to a point where I don't have to rely on tools like numerology and astrology, but some questions may pop up. Usually, it's dealing with relationships in the future. Anything solid for my intuition, I will pull a few card spread then. But my main tool is not tarot cards. So if you're looking for a tarot reader, just Google them. You know what I'm saying? There's mad tarot readers out in the world. I like to ask for additional help guidance with staying on track of the initial topics, lessons that I focus on exactly what needs to be accomplished daily in order to expand my growth spiritually. Sounds like you lack a discipline. What I recommend for people, if they really can't stay on their path, so to speak, is start to get with a group or get an accountability partner, somebody that's going to hold you accountable. So, for instance, you can be like, man, I'm gonna check in with my Aunt Susie every Friday, or my dude, or whatever, or my best friend, or somebody on Facebook or Twitter. But get an accountability partner, even if they're not doing the same practices as you. You could just be like, hey, yo, I'm gonna check up with you every Friday. You know, ask me these specific questions. How many times did you do X, Y, Z? How was your experience? How long did you do it or whatever? You can give them a script to ask you. But it sounds like to me, from just this general question, I would recommend getting an accountability partner, somebody that's going to hold you accountable. And you don't have to pay them. More than likely, it could be like a friend or family member. How do you handle being rejected by a loved one because of your spiritual discipline? You don't know me very well. I deal with rejection very well. If you don't like me, we don't have to rap. Simple as that. What I recommend for people, if you got family, friends, or anybody that's trying to prevent you from going down your path, guess what? They ain't your people. And I recommend loving them from a distance. I'm a strong proponent in loving people from a distance. If they're not helping you, they're not supporting you, they're draining you, then I'll holler at you next lifetime. I would not talk to you like that. So that's a personal decision. So you ask me, and I say just love them from a distance. If they're really going hard body trying to prevent you from doing you, should nobody not let you do you? You know, so if they're doing that, you know, I would cut them quick. So how do I handle being rejected? Me personally, I never experienced that. My mom, my family, everybody was cool. They knew I didn't go to church. They knew I was on some other stuff. But for real, they never asked me. You know, the conversation never comes up. If someone is Christian in my family, we just don't talk about religion or spirituality. We'll talk about sports or whatever. Didn't have to deal with rejection in my family. Also, I'm not the ambassador in my family. My cousin Juice, who does a radio show with me, Mind Right Radio, is Conscious Awake. And his brother, my other cousin's Conscious Awake. We have another cousin, shout out to Orlando James, Conscious Awake. I got girl cousins who's aware, shout out to Janae, April. Like, it seems like all my cousins, blood cousins, they're all awake in one way, shape, or form. So I'm not the only one in my family. There are so many, next question. There are so many spiritual teachers, new age and alike, and it gets overwhelming. Who do you trust to guide you through the process? Do I have to spend that much? Okay, who do you trust to guide you to the process? The axiom is when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. When you wake up, certain individuals will stick out to you. Some of these individuals, you'll disagree with them. Some of them, you'll listen to them, and it's like they're reminding you of something. Usually the teachers that are, feel like they're reminding you of something are the ones that you can start working with. But let me be very clear, and this is part of my new mission now, is everyone doesn't require a teacher, and some souls only require a teacher for a short period of time, you know? So you have to, that's where self-awareness comes in. You have to know, do I require guidance? Do I need a mentor? Do I need a teacher? You know, some people may be able to work with a teacher online. Some people may need to work with a teacher in the flesh. Some people may only need to read the books from the teacher. Some people may only need to watch videos from the teacher. It really depends on your personal soul's orientation. But in brief, when a student's ready, teacher will appear, and you need to let your heart be the judge. As far as me personally, I can only speak for myself. I turn more people away as far as students than accept students, because I want to make sure that when you work with me, my track record is pristine, you know? And the reason why it's pristine is I don't work with anyone that I know they're not ready to work and put in work. If you're not ready to put in work, no teacher can do anything for you. Do I have to spend that much money? Depends on what you consider money. It depends on what you consider investing in. Do you have to spend money on a teacher? Absolutely not. But do teachers have fees for their services? Depend on what service you sign up for? Then yes. So that's a judgment call. If you want a teacher and he serves and he charges a fee, then it's up to you to pay that fee. Once again, if for me personally, I wouldn't work with a teacher who is charges some sort of astronomical fee, either for their classes, their consultations, or whatever, unless they are highly qualified and they have a lot of people that are talking about what they're doing. You know, one of the things I look for as far as teachers and people that's making an influence, they shouldn't tell you all the great things that they're capable of doing. You should hear it from their students and their clients. If you have a teacher telling you more than the students, then I would run away from that teacher personally. So do you have to spend money? Absolutely not. But depending on what services, then yes. Do you have to spend money for a Big Mac at McDonald's? You know, I mean, things do cost money. But if a teacher is very money motivated, me personally, I would stay away from them. Do I need those things in order to gain enlightenment? Most humans need guidance. Even as much as against the system I am, as much as against authority I am, I still recognize that most humans need to be guided. The greatest basketball player, Michael Jordan, had a coach. Greatest golf player, Tiger Woods, had a coach. Greatest actors, they have a coach, you know? So I would say that most people need to be guided, but you only need to be guided to a certain point, especially during with spiritual work. So do you need those things in order to gain enlightenment? No, but it can make the journey a lot easier. It seems similar to okay. Next question. Share with me your ideals on Hebrew Israelites and Negroes as lost tribe of Judah. Share with me your ideals on Hebrew Israelites and Negroes as lost tribe of Judah. This is sort of like too biblical. For me, I don't look at the Bible as literal history and to extrapolate facts from it and then analyze it as something that actually happened. So I don't subscribe to the terminology. But Hebrew Israelites, I can, without a shadow of a doubt, say all the Hebrew Israelites, the original man was melanated. There is no original man that is European or anything else. The original man is melanated. And the original man was on many places of earth, including Europe. But as far as lost tribes of Judah, like I can't validate that. I'm good with that, yo. The Negro or black man as the recipients of the curse of Deuteronomy chapter 28. Wrong person, bro, or ma'am. Like ask somebody else on that one. Deuteronomy, I can't substantiate that. I can't validate that. The Jews in Israel are Khazar, imposter, and not the true Hebrew Israelites. Many cultures, in using your words, imposter or impersonate other cultures. You can say that the African American in today sort of imposter other cultures by wearing wigs and weave and certain hair and certain nails and makeups. Me personally, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying someone could say that. You see my point? So people have been impersonating people for eons. That's the way it is. When a civilization is doing something or a culture is doing something and they're high in their society, then other cultures are going to see that and they're going to implement that in their culture. So if they're impersonating them, I mean, I guess you could say that, or they're modeling success. One of the key things for success is you model success. So that's impersonation as well. So it's like tomato. Next question: how to create reality, spiritual growth, and protection and manifest abundance? That's very, very broad, very, very general. How to create reality is like, I mean, law of attraction. I think you might need to go to Abraham Hicks on that. But to create reality, me personally, I don't, just the whole setup of that question point is a misnomer. I personally don't believe we create our reality, so to speak. I think we more so wake up to our reality. Same thing with a lot of things in metaphysics, like spiritual mastery or whatever. Can you really attain spiritual mastery, or do you just wake up to spiritual mastery because it's already within us? Do you go from human to God, or do you just wake up knowing that you're God? You see, everything is kind of cloaked and everything is under a disguise. So how to create your reality? Your reality has already been created. You know, I personally subscribe to that. We plan out everything before we incarnate. You don't have to accept that. I can't prove it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you to accept that just blindly. But there's a lot of evidence, and I have a lot of things in my personal life that allude to all this stuff is prearranged. And furthermore, this is an illusion. That I'm convinced of and know for sure. Hell, quantum mechanics will tell you that. They'll say that this is a holographic universe, meaning that it's not real. You know, reality changes. Look at the observer effect. Reality don't exist until you look at it. You know, so reality, what is reality? I say this isn't reality. The true reality is unseen. You know, so that's that question. It's hard to articulate an answer for that question because I see missing links in the question. Next one, I want a guide to help me step by step to open and activate my third eye, increase my intuition. A guide to help open a third eye. Step by step, that'd be kind of difficult because there's many processes in order to open a third eye. I spoke about the dreams recall and the diet, dealing with the dream recall, because that's important because you see in the dreams with your third eye. So diet has a lot to do with your third eye as well. The same answer that I gave before, but a simple thing that you can do really is for real, just mad alkaline foods, yo. And I'm not the health dude. I'm telling you right now, I eat meat. I don't eat pork. I haven't eaten pork like 15, 16 years. Very little beef, you know. But I eat, you know, I'm not a vegetarian. So I'm not one to sit here and say that everyone needs to be vegan or vegetarian. But me personally, I can speak on that dietary choice because for 6 months of my life, I was vegan. No meat, no dairy, no butter, none of that stuff or whatever. And I can honestly say I've experienced the most heightened intuition with doing little work when I just changed my diet, because you're decalcifying your pineal gland once you start consuming more alkaline foods. So a step by step, just real quick, I would just look into alkaline foods. And obviously meditation as well. People always think like you need to do a specific meditation in order to open the third eye. Anytime that you're meditating, as long as you're getting into that zone, you're chipping away at the calcification of your third eye, activating your third eye every time you meditate. And the more you meditate and master that process, you're going to open your third eye up safely. Quick ways of opening your third eye. The most popular one is called ayahuasca. Ayahuasca, ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is very popular in South America in the Amazon or whatever. And the main chemical that is in ayahuasca that is released is called dimethyltryptamine or DMT. That is the same chemical that allows you to dream. Using the pineal body, secreting that DMT is allowing you to see in dreams and travel outside the body. That's a quick way to open the third eye, but it's very short-lived, and it's not, I wouldn't say it's not safe, but depending on your soul growth or your spiritual evolution, you can experience some wild stuff if you take ayahuasca. I'm confused about how many altars you need. As far as altar work, if you come to me and say, I want to put up one altar, I'm going to tell you to put up an ancestor altar. So if you feel like you need an altar or you want an altar, to start with an ancestor altar. All right, this next one is a little bit long. I'm not sure which deity or spirit guide I should work with and how. I would prefer to work with ancestors, but I've not been able to communicate with them. Not sure of offerings, etc. Also need sure of which crystals I should probably use as protection for me day to day and in my home. Crystals as far as protection, look at black crystals, like your tourmaline, your hematite, black or silver crystals, or crystals related to the root chakra. Those are your protective stones. As far as the spirit guide I should work with, I'm not sure what you mean by spirit guide. If you're talking about deities, I would look at my book, Deity Linkage Manual, How to Find Your Gods and Goddesses Using Numerology. You can cop that on Amazon. About spirit guides, I would just Google how to communicate with my spirit guides. There's mad people that put out information dealing with spirit guides. If you're referencing ancestors, ancestor altar will benefit you well. Communicate to them safely through the altar and ask them to show themselves to you in your dreams. So speak to them through the altar and ask them to show you something that you need in your dream. That's a safe way for the ancestors to speak to you, is through the dream. Honestly, most our ancestors speak to us through telepathy, mind to mind, constantly. You've been driving before and you have a thought of your great grandmother or something pop up in your head, and you might write it off like, I'm just thinking about her. A deceased loved one pop up in your mind, it's because their energy is around you. They're actually speaking to you at that time. Some of us are able to pick up the vibration and get words from it. Most people are not. Come through as your thoughts. But a safe way for the ancestor to come to you is through the dream, and it's a safe way for you to speak to them as well. Okay, what magic should I practice? So many questions. So what magic should I practice? What magic are you interested in? Magic is a very general thing. There's many different systems. So I would just, whatever magic that resonated with you at first, the first one that came across your mind, when you think of magic, what comes to your mind? That's where I would start. Here's a jewel, y'all. Too many times we're worried about picking the right modality or the right practice. Most times your spirit is just wanting to start. The things I started on my path are not the same things that I do now. But those things help lead me to what I'm doing now. I think it was Steve Jobs, peace and blessings be upon him. He said we're only able to look at the dots and how they connect after all the dots are connected. While we're on our journey, it's hard to see where the next dot is. Hopefully you follow that analogy. Basically, just start. You feel me? Just start. I'm very interested in learning all that I can, and I need more help with being sure of myself. I'm very interested in learning all that I can, and I need more help with being sure of myself. That's a very difficult question to answer. All that I can. You don't, here's the thing, man. You don't need to learn everything. Yo, listen to me. You don't need to know everything. I made a video saying the most important thing you need to know is what you came here to do. The end. All the other stuff I'm telling you is just flossing. I know stuff based on my research and just my consumption of information. I just know useless stuff. You know, it's trivial. But I'm sure I can post it on Facebook, get a like. I'm sure I can start spitting it, and people are like, oh, at least deep. I can do that every day. Just come up here and stunt. Just like, oh, I know this, I know that. Where I'm different than I think a lot of teachers is, I'm not up here trying to flex, man. I don't care. I can care less. Only reason I'm doing this is it's part of my soul's mission. I have to do it. If I didn't have to do it, I wouldn't be here. And I would say not to be mean. I'm just being real. If I didn't have to be here teaching on earth, then I would be in a mountain chilling somewhere, you know? So the only thing you need to know is your purpose. What happened in Kemet in 17, 16, 15, and the ancient Moors and the Hebrew Israelites, that feel good to your ego, you know, make you feel a sort of pride. But after that, what are you going to do with that information? Unless your soul came here to teach other people historical data. Now, there are souls that came here to bring up history and remind people about it. You know, shout out to Ronoka Rashidi. You know, he brings up a lot of historical facts that are helping people get on their spiritual path or be more connected to their ancestors and to their ethnicity. So he's doing his purpose. But if you're doing something or learning something, it has nothing to do with you, you're not benefiting, and you're not helping someone else with it, then why are you learning it? It's only feeding your ego and your intellect, just making you a smarter human. Has nothing to do with your soul. So what do you learn? You learn whatever you're interested in, and you apply what you need to apply. How can I contact you one-to-one? Best way to contact me is through my email. Go to salimyers.com and click on contact, or email me at salimyers911@gmail.com. All right. I really want to start meditating, but I don't know what to think about when trying to open my first chakra. How to open chakras. You can look up what's called a focus meditation, or you can look up something called Kundalini meditation. Both of them will show you an active process on opening the chakras through meditation or Kundalini meditation. But the simple answer is we're so removed from the power of our mind. We're so removed from the power of our mind. All the tools, books, processes, techniques, or whatever is only focusing your mind. Once you know how to focus your mind, you don't have to go through all those techniques and tools and all that stuff that, you know, people brag about collecting. So where you are with this question, so I'm going to reference you to a guided meditation called focus meditation or Kundalini meditation. But for you advanced students, all you got to do is focus on your chakra and just breathe in through it. That's how you want to activate a chakra. Focus on it, breathe in, visualize, and go there. Put your mind in a place where it can do its job. All you have to do is focus it. How can I get negative force? How can I get negative force in me out, feel normal? I feel with so much negative forces out. I'll breathe so I can see if I can connect to the soul of the person that asked the question. Based on the individual, the answer would be different. That's why I like mostly doing questions where I actually hear the person's voice. Connecting with the sun is a very good way of cleansing, especially with it being springtime now. Start doing some solar work. How to sun gaze safely. I did a YouTube video talking about sun gazing. I will look into that. That's a very good way of cleaning yourself, purifying yourself. So for that individual, I would say sun gazing. All right, that's halfway through. And 5:30. All right, cool. All right, next question. I just don't know where to start from. I don't know if it's working. I don't know how to put all my research into action. I just don't know where to start from. I don't know if it's working. I don't know how to put all my research into action. All right, based on this person's question, this may not apply to everyone, but based on this person's question, if you're confused with the research, first thing I'm going to say is stop researching. Stop listening. Stop watching. Stop reading. Just stop. Now, look at what you've read, what you've researched, and see what sticks out to you. If it's chakras, if it's crystals, if it's meditation, if it's yoga, if it's magic, if it's Tai Chi, if it's Qigong, if it's whatever, then start to implement some actionable things. Basically, put in work, put in action. So stop researching. If you're already confused with the information, why do you keep putting information in your consciousness? Makes no sense whatsoever. Makes no sense whatsoever. When you breathe, do you just inhale? Constantly just keep inhaling. Just do that. Just keep inhaling. What a lot of you are doing is researching the information and just inhaling. It's called information. You're taking something in. What are you putting out? That's probably a way more important question. You feel me? Start researching and start putting in action on one thing. Simple. I'm telling y'all, spirituality is not complicated, yo. It's very simple. The only thing I would love to see is a video on if kids should burn ancestor money, if they should pray with you at the altar. Okay, this is the question I shared on Facebook. Emphatically, yes. If your child is showing an interest in meditation, altar work, magic, I don't care what it is, I would let that child do it side by side with me. My 4-year-old daughter now, when she was 2, I believe, she was fascinated by the altar. So instead of me saying, no, don't touch that, no, you stay away, what I did was every night when I gave an offering by me, and I let her put the candle out, I let her throw an ancestor money note in, I incorporated her into the practice. Because after a few weeks, since she knew my routine, once I got to the ancestor money part, she was already pulling out the money. You feel me? I didn't tell her, baby, you need to come learn this. She showed interest, and a lot of parents, we force it on our children. I'm an unconventional parent. I don't force my children to do nothing. I don't. Because I understand once you force a child, what do? They rebel. I was a child. I remember being a child. You tell me something, rebelling. Clean your room. I ain't cleaning my room. You know what I'm saying? You know how children is. So yeah, invite your children, especially they showing an interest, let them come through. And what I put on Facebook, these children, they so bright, they star seeds and indigos and crystals, whatever y'all humans like to call these children nowadays. Vibrating high. Most children are older than their parents. Most children are older than their parents. Their souls are older than their parents. So they probably can teach you something. How important is numerology in a person's spiritual enlightenment? Excellent question, especially based on all my numerology information. It's not important if you're not attracted to numerology. The reason why I'm drawn to numerology is that it's help with self-awareness, being aware of yourself. Numerology is going to show you some of your things that you're challenged with. It's also going to point to some sort of gifts and talents you have. It's also going to point towards the way you like to express yourself. And important. So numerology is very good for self-awareness. Self-awareness is a key to enlightenment. So is numerology important for enlightenment? No, not itself, but self-awareness is, which numerology can help you with self-awareness. I like to know about how to send thoughts to other people on a step-by-step basis. How to send thoughts to other people on a step-by-step basis. For some reason, this question has some sort of darkness to it. I'm not saying that the person is doing it to, send some dark energy to somebody, but even if you think you're sending some good thoughts to somebody, say let me paint an example. Say I want to send some thoughts to a chick I dig. I seen her on Facebook. I think she's flying. I want to holler at her. So I like some chick or whatever. and I want to send her some thoughts. If I sent thoughts to her and she ended up liking me, didn't I manipulate her free will? You know, I personally subscribe to free will, and I don't like to make somebody do something against their will. So I personally wouldn't send thoughts to someone for my benefit. That's borderline what we consider dark magic. Dark magic, from my definition, is when you're doing something to influence somebody against their will. You know, so why would you want to send some thoughts to someone to manipulate them? Or their techniques? I know some techniques, but I wouldn't share it right here on YouTube. And from the tone of this question, I wouldn't share it with this individual. But if you want to send some thoughts to anybody, just think of a person and talk to them. It's called telepathy. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. So you want to talk to somebody, think of them, picture them in your mind's eye, and just speak to them. Simple. How to work with spirit? Very broad question. I'm assuming you're talking about gods, angels, and deities and stuff like that. An altar is the best and safest way to work with spirit. And when I'm talking about working with deities at the altar, I'm not talking about working with them from a subservient servant standpoint. I'm talking about becoming one with that particular energy. So instead of worshiping Oshun and looking like Oshun is above you, invoking the energy and becoming Oshun, where she is just a higher representation of yourself because she is you. You are her and she is you, or whatever. So how to work with spirit altar. How to condition a mental. How do you build a strong mind? The mind and mental, those are very general terms as well. One thing that you may want to do, and I'd like to give this suggestion, is start to study something that may challenge you. So if it's a foreign language, if it's a form of mathematics, maybe some sort of computer technology or something, study something that challenges you. Expanding your mind when you do something that's challenging, because it is having you operate on the brain parts that you normally don't use because you're used to doing things easily. You notice with humans, we're always finding the easy way out. Well, true growth is painful. True growth is painful. So to expand your mind, you want to challenge your mind. You challenge your mind by exposing it to something that it's going to disagree with, or that it's going to have to work to get. That's how you expand your mental in a simple standpoint. But it's more so expanding your intellect, which can translate to your mental and the spiritual mind, so to speak. How to meditate properly. Go to my website, salimyers.com, and type in meditation at the search bar. Also, I did some YouTube videos on meditating. A few key points is keep your spine straight, take deep breaths, be relaxed, and that's about it. Those are a few of the most important. Keep your spine straight. Make sure you do breathe. And you want to make sure you're in a relaxed position where you're not having to worry about your body. Other than that, there's like infinite amount of meditation techniques per se, or routines. What I would do is just really look up a meditation technique that you're comfortable with. It's very simple. If it's transcendental meditation, then look at TM, get a book or read some articles or watch a YouTube video. However they suggest step by step for you to do it, start to practice. Once you start to practice, if you want to switch it up and add something or omit something, take something away, then adjust it according to your personal vibration routine, and flip it and make it one for you, and then master it by doing it every day or as much as you can. That's how you properly meditate. It takes practice. You know, just the fact that you're asking me a question about how to meditate properly lets me know that you're not really trying, because there's literally too much meditation information out there, you know? And my job is we have to be more intelligent spiritually, yo. We got Wikipedia and Google, man. It's ridiculous. We really have to step it up. There's so much information out there. They're applying the information. Once you apply the information, I'm telling you, you don't need no more books and teachers and all this bull crap. You don't need it no more. I'm telling you for sure. Apply the information that your teachers, your masters, the guys out here are giving you. There's a lot of great souls that are given a lot of jewels and a lot of tools, but they can't make you do the work. So take self accountability. How do you meditate properly? Follow a meditation regimen, master it, then adjust it. I want to know and have true understanding of my life purpose and how to balance my emotions. Life purpose, easy thing that you can look up is numerology. Something else a little bit more in depth is astrology. Now, if you're not able to read it, then unfortunately, you're going to have to get with somebody who's qualified. Me personally, I can read numerology, astrology, the soul, tarot, oracle, whatever. So I help people with their life purpose. SAliMyers.com, click on one-on-one, and you can set that up. But other than that, you have to get a book. You have to get a system. You have to study your chart, either your numerology chart or your birth chart, or you have to get with somebody who's already knows those sciences. Another thing too is, if you want to bypass that, is you want to sit down and see what's coming from your mind. What do you want to do? What are you attracted to? What are you being drawn to? What do you feel like you should be doing? Those are questions. I promise you, if you really sit and think about it, your purpose will come up to you. The thing with life purpose, a lot of people think is some grandiose thing. And I'm sitting there telling you, everybody didn't come here to be some great master teacher or great healer. You know, some of you came here to learn lessons of love and forgiveness. Some of you came here to be a little bit more confident. Some of you came here to stop letting people walk over you. That's your life purpose. Purpose of your life. Doesn't have to be on the stage singing or playing football or something like that. Some of us do have, quote unquote, what you call bigger purposes. But in my perspective of reality, a small purpose is the same as a big purpose. There's still a purpose. There's still a reason why your soul chose to come here. And I don't think we can minimize anybody's soul for coming here, saying they have a big purpose, they have a small purpose. We all have a purpose for being here, or we wouldn't be here. You know? Okay, this is a long one. I am an introvert. I stay to myself mostly, so I tend to stay in my home and think of ways to be forth. What is I study to be? Man, my bad, yo. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but everything seems to move so slow around me. I find myself walking through time, watching people move very fast at times. Then I may see something, and that time will slow down. I see, noticing that it's me. My bad. Don't mean to run all over the place. Could you tell me what I'm doing wrong? I don't believe you're doing anything wrong. I think what you're doing is having time lapses. And I think you might be one of those people that can consciously travel through time. We can call it astral projection, call it remote viewing. There's a few different terms for it. But what I think you're doing is, I think you're, the time is an illusion, but time is real. What do I mean? Time is illusion, meaning that it's different depending on what your activity is. If you put your hand on a stove that's very hot, 2 seconds will feel like an eternity. But if you're engaged in like sexual activity, or yeah, you engage in some sex and you're at orgasm or something like that, then 2 seconds is going to feel like, or 2 minutes can feel like it's not that long or whatever. Basically, when you're enjoying something, time flies. That's why we say time flies when we're having fun. An illusion, because I said I'm doing a live event at 5 p.m. and according to this thing, there's 50-something people watching. So if I didn't put a time on here, then people couldn't come here. So time is an illusion because we're all here at the same time. So time is an illusion and time isn't. But the reason why it's important is based on our consciousness and based on our vibration, we can slip through time, or we can have time lapses. Let me put your God goggles on. Let me go a little bit deeper. A lot of extraterrestrials, what they do is bend time. When they work with humans, and once again, I'm a contactee, so I'm qualified to speak of this. When they work with humans, A lot of times they will bend time where you lose track of time. So basically, you can be interacting with an extraterrestrial or be engaged in something or out of the universe. I'm sorry if this is a little bit too far out for you, but this is reality. But you can be out of the universe and they can make it seem that you had no time lapse, where you left at 10 and you wake up at 10:01, or you come out of meditation at 10:01, where it looks like only a minute has passed, but it's really been forever. You also get a glimpse of this in your dreams, where the dream may seem like it's 30 minutes, but yet you only been asleep or dreaming for 5 minutes or whatever. Once you get from out of 3D, time becomes very weird, very weird. But time in 3D is very concrete and very slowed down or whatever. You live on Earth, this is a slow vibration. The higher you go in dimensions, the faster the vibration becomes. With that quickness of vibration, time becomes more of an illusion. Quantum mechanics call it the space-time continuum. Once you get out of the space-time continuum, time doesn't operate the same as 3D reality. Um, the understanding of magic. Why aren't words good enough? Words are good enough with magic. So that question in itself, I would say, is not worded correctly. The understanding of magic. Why aren't words good? Words are good enough for magic. Look up something called Words of Power. Words of Power. I know Tybro.com, Tybro.com. They have their set of Words of Power. And also there's a brother by the name of Damon Brand on Amazon. He's a power. But Words of Power are very real. And it's something I've personally, I've solarized a few different Words of Power under the tutelage of Dr. Gibson. So I personally have firsthand experience with just using words. Look at prayers as well. There are ancient prayers that have a lot more energy to them. I'm talking about beyond the Bible. Mary had a little, I said Mary had a little lamb, yo. But our Father that art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. That, if you say it with enough conviction, it probably has some power. But I'm looking at prayers that have a different language, not English. One of the popular ones that I teach about all the time is called the Anabacoa, or the miracle prayer. Go to sallyMyers.com, click on content, and find what's called the miracle prayer. I promise you, you memorize that prayer, you ain't gonna need nothing. You can use words for your magic. For real, for real. The miracle prayer, Anabacoa. sallyMyers.com, click on content. It's right there. So words are good enough for magic. One thing you might be able to help me with is triple numbers. I know you made a video about it, but I was wondering about if you lose your train of thought, how do you understand the message the numbers gave you? Yeah, I've made like this. That's one of the thorns in my side is people seeing these numbers, man. I'm telling you, most people, it is not a message for most of you. It's more of a wake-up call. Because you are versed in numerology or you study numerology in past lives, you're able to extrapolate messages from those numbers. Me personally, I get numbers that come across me. It's not, oh, I seen 555 444. I'm like, okay, the spirit is saying this. There's no theory, there's no mental work, there's no, it's as simple as me talking right now. But I understand that most people didn't come here for that. So some of you, it's as simple as learning numerology, learning the keywords of the numbers, and then applying it to whatever situation that's going on. For most of you, though, they're just wake-up calls. I keep seeing 555. Once you wake up, you won't see that number like that. I'm telling you, for the most part, most of you, some of you are based on past lives. So you will be able to get a message from it. Help me to triple numbers. I was wondering, how do you wonder about if you lose your train of thought? If you lose your train of thought, what does the numbers have to do with it? Once again, it's waking you up. Like, hey, you lost your train of thought. Wake up, get back on your grind. You know? Do you know the right way to give offerings to our ancestors so they receive it properly? I always recommend just lighting a candle, then putting a food offering on the altar and saying some prayers. And by prayers, I just mean words spoken. I just like using the word prayer, but I'm not talking from a religious standpoint, and I'm not talking about a literal prayer that you have to memorize and look up online. No, the prayer is just words spoken. To all my ancestors, both known and unknown, I love you. Here's your offering. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That could be a prayer, simple as that. But light the candle, and I say that's like ringing the doorbell to the spirit world. Say who it's for. It's for my ancestors, both known and unknown. This for my grandma Susie. It's for my uncle Tom. That's probably a bad one. But for my uncle Thomas, you know what I mean? For just put the offer. I mean, it's really that simple. What I've noticed, and I don't know who's putting out this information, but people keep coming to me and asking me, Ali, do I have to do this before I do my altar work? Ali, do I have to wear all white? Ali, do I need to turn around 12 times? And man, people have said some crazy things, yo. I'm like, for real? Like there are people that's telling people you need to wear all white, you need to wash, you need to turn around 12 times, you don't need to give them the same thing you ate, all these different rules and regulations. Um, Once again, if you need a bunch of rules and regulations, you may not want to listen to me. I'm a freestyle spiritualist. I believe that everyone has the capacity to be their own master or their own guru. I believe that you don't have to ask nobody for permission to be you. If the creator gave you permission to come to earth, I don't believe you have to ask a man or woman permission to do anything. My creator allowed me to come here. I don't have to ask man for nothing. You feel me? So if you need rules and regulations, you may want to follow or find somebody, follow, sit at the feet of somebody that's going to stroke you and hold your hand and be like, I'm here for you and I'm going to lead you down the path. I'm personally not like that. I believe we're all gods and I believe we're all can be our own master. So if you need some more handheld or something like that, you may want to find a teacher like that. There's no rules. There's no rules for spirituality. There are ways that you can maximize it and there are ways you can minimize things. I'm not saying that, but for real, once you get to a certain level, and I know everybody's not on that level, so I'm not going to speak it like that, but you get to a certain level, there are no rules for you. The rules that apply to other humans do not apply to people that are self-realized. And for other people that know who I'm talking about, you know what exactly what I mean. Same rules do not apply. We are all not built the same. Everyone's different. So I have a really busy mind like no other. All my brain folders, all my brain folders are messed up and my cabinets are not organized in my head. I do meditation to completely blank out my brain and slowly organize, but sometimes I see black in my head, which I think is a good thing. But the problem is that when I am done with meditation, all the mess comes back. It's like the black was covering up the mess without actually organizing. If I understand your question correctly, I'm pretty sure you're saying when you go into meditation, you're kind of getting breakthroughs, but when you come out of meditation, it's like mundane reality. That's the reason why the meditation practice is important. The one of the things that meditation should train your mind to do is control your thoughts. If you subscribe to the universal laws, and the first universal law is all is mind and mind is all. The mind is a faculty where we get thoughts from. So if everything in our reality is based on thought, then if your thoughts are messed up, your reality, quote unquote, is going to be messed up. So meditation should help you have more pure thoughts. It's not saying all your thoughts are going to be quote unquote good and you need to get rid of bad thoughts, because I'm also not that spiritual teacher saying that you need to have only pure thoughts and any thoughts of desires and all this stuff. That's tomfoolery. You cannot stop your thought, but you can have vibrations of thought. That comes with going through the muck and the darkness, as you put it. So you have to keep dipping into that dark space and find out, why is that dark space there? Why are these thoughts in my attic or in my folders? Why are these thoughts teaching me what I should be doing with these thoughts? A lot of time with our thoughts, especially those that we consider dark, when we act on them, we don't know, we no longer have them anymore. Like me, let me get a little personal. Me as a child, I was a kleptomaniac. I had thoughts all the time going to stores and stealing. That's what I did. From age 8 years old to probably age, actually my first and only year of college, was the last time I stole from anywhere. 18-year-olds in college. But for my childhood and up to that time, I always had thoughts of stealing from stores. Never stole from people, but my whole theory was, man, the stores got all this money, they got everything, I'm about to get mine, or whatever. Growing up in the hood, that's my mentality. I'm getting mine, or whatever. So I used to go to stores and steal all the time. I had those thoughts. But since I experienced it when I was a child, I no longer have those thoughts. You see? So I acted on my thought when I was young. By acting on that thought, I learned a better way of doing it. Now, in my own personal moral compass, I don't find that justified and godly for me to go to stores and rob, or from anybody for that matter. So I don't steal. You know, I don't even really download music off the internet, for real, for real. You see? But that's my point. You have to find out why are these thoughts there? A lot of times we suppress our thoughts so bad and we're so scared to act. But what if you acted and then you didn't have those thoughts anymore? It's just something to think about. It may work for you, may not. I would like some information on how to realize if I'm making progress. It may sound like a jerk answer. Let me make sure. Hold on, make sure. I would like some information on how to realize if I'm making progress. This may sound like a jerk answer, but I promise it's coming from a place of love. If you're making progress, you wouldn't ask that question. If you're making progress, you wouldn't ask that question. You know you're making progress because you feel it. You feel it. And then you're about like how you change. So how do you know you're making progress when you don't have to ask the question, am I making progress? That's like a general answer that I can give that applies to everyone. And that is very real. What is going on spirituality when a woman goes into preterm labor and a baby is born alive but transitions shortly after? So I think this is where like a stillbirth or whatever, if I'm using that term correctly. Child being born and then dying directly after. Um, First off, peace and blessings be upon that baby, and also my heart goes out to the family. But on our planet, we don't know death and life the way other cultures do, especially in the West. We don't understand nature of the soul. We don't understand multiple lives. We don't understand incarnation. We don't understand a lot of these things that make it difficult to see quote unquote death. If you're into spirituality, metaphysics, and the occult, I'm pretty certain that you believe in a spiritual aspect of reality, meaning that every person has a soul, or for the most part, most people have a soul, and then that soul carries on to another spot after Earth. Pretty sure if you're into metaphysics, the occult, you probably accept that. With that, what it means when a soul comes here and they're here for a very short period of time is they lived out their soul purpose for that particular incarnation. Just because a baby only lived here for 2 days doesn't mean that it didn't have a full life. A full life is when you are born and you die. That's a full life. It could be 1 day, it could be 1 hour, or it could be 100 years. A full life is being born and dying. Doesn't matter how long you think it should be. You think it should be. So when a soul comes here and they die very quickly, that's for a reason. From my experience, that's usually for the living person, that they had to deal with something. A common thing that people have to deal with when they experience the death of a child very quickly is they have to learn how to grieve correctly, or how to let things go. There's I can't think of any tougher lesson of learning how to let things go than losing a child. You see, I mean, that's a very hard lesson. But imagine if you learned that lesson in a lifetime and you had no problems of letting people go, next lifetime, so to speak. So whatever a child comes and they live their life, that's what they came here to do. It's hard to see it while we're still living, but after you leave the body and you review your life, you'll be like, okay, now I see why they came. Just think about now of the people that are in your life now and the people that aren't in your life anymore. I'm sure you have friends that you might have been cool for a year, or you have friends that might have been cool for 10 years. Why were they in your life? and why are they not in your life? I'm pretty sure you can learn from both, why they were there and why they're not there. That's the way it works. It's deeper when you're talking about death and birth, but it's still very akin to that. I didn't know my life purpose. I think I answered that one already. So that's the same question, and that's all my questions. Thank you, brother. Thanks a lot. All right. I don't know if this got a chat or something like that. Let's see. Oh, to list all available comments, enter. Bam. 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 List all available comments, enter. All right, sends the inline private message to specify open keyword. All right, I'm not sure if this chat is working. It got it up, but like somebody typed something. It's like what, 60 something people on here. Like somebody typed something. Or if not, I can't see any question. I literally wanted to do this so I can answer the questions from my network. I look at doing something similar to this in the future. Me and my cousin Juice been talking about doing some live Q&As for a minute. Love interacting with the fam and interacting with humanity in this regard. People asking questions and just really that live interaction. I noticed that's something else that I find different with myself than a lot of other maybe teachers and stuff is I don't have no problem answering things live. I don't really like having it already, the questions written out and stuff like that. I like live questions, live answer. That way you know it's all genuine or whatever. Ain't no fugazi, no tomfoolery, ain't no Google searching and stuff like that. It's all authentic or whatever. So I'm looking at doing something like this in a very, very, very near future. To be honest though, I'm not sure if I want to do it on YouTube or Facebook. It's going to be YouTube or Facebook. Now, I also thought about doing it on both, having YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and maybe Instagram Live all at the same time. That'd be ill. We're looking at doing some sort of weekly live Q&A because for real, I just like interacting with people in that regard. We do it like at least once a month on Mind Right Radio, and every Sunday we do that. I got at least probably about 30-something people that want to ask a question, come on air, ask a question. So, and that's been like that for years now. So it's something about the live Q&A that I think people resonate with. You know, I think it has a lot to do with authenticity. You know, you might feel different. Let me know. Send me a message. Let me know why people like live Q&A. But yeah, I can't see any questions or anything. I'll see. I'm gonna check Facebook. But it said I got a chat on here, but I'm not seeing it. Empty. Check Facebook real quick. See if anybody had any questions there. And if not, I'm going to close this thing out because I don't know. All right, if this is your first time hearing me, I definitely suggest you go to my website. In fact, even if you do know me, website, I have a new mission statement, so to speak. You go to the home page and let you know when I'm on. Really about to step up planet. A lot of work I've done so far has been mainly dealing with altar work and numerology. But I'm really about to start showing people how to become their own master, how to become their own guru, how to become self-God realized, as I put it. And it's one of those things where I know it ain't for everybody, but I do know a lot of people on this planet are very much prepared for it. You know, I brag about all the time that my group, My fam, the cats I kick it with, all God body, all self God realized, all doing something, all making an impact on the world. Every single one of the people that are close to me in the physical, every single person, self God realized and putting in work. We do the retreat. I do my classes. I'm starting to notice more and more people being psychic sensitive that have this vibration where they just need a book, they just need a tool, they need a few lectures, maybe go to seminars, maybe follow a teacher a little bit, maybe have a mentor. They just need a little bit of self-accountability for their spiritual mastery. Those are the souls that I came here to help. And it's very simple, but I'm seeing no one in a community and no one in spirituality that's teaching it the way that I'm teaching it or going to do more so in the future. Whereas all blueprints, all guides for you to do your own work. It's not creating followers, not creating subservient individuals to go around bowing at me and doing all this other stupid stuff. It's for you to take accountability for your spirituality and grow beyond your wildest dreams. It's a possibility, I believe, for all humans to do that. But I know all humans won't do it in this lifetime. But for the ones that want to do it, rock with me. I'll show you the way. And you don't need me. You don't need nobody once you do it. So appreciate everybody coming through. Like I said, salymyers.com. Definitely join my network, the email list. New feature is the new master class. The first one is the psychic development, which I've had up for a while, but like I said, I'm positioning things differently. So the master class will be affordable classes that you can come to and you can learn something that's going to help you with your spiritual mastery. It's going to deal with spiritual mastery, self-awareness, and also spiritual business. So definitely look into that. First one is psychic development. It'll be about 29 days or so. Then after that, every 2 weeks, I have a new class. Also, the interactive workshops, those are the more in-depth, more personable. Usually, I don't take too many students. That stays within 9, 10, very low numbers because a lot of interaction. That's where I work with people with things that they're working on. So that's the spiritual business. Also Tahuti numerology, because the Tahuti numerology is a lot of exercises. There's a lot of people actually doing readings. It's hard to simulate that on YouTube or in lectures and stuff like that. I really need to hear you read people, and from doing that online course, this would be, I think, the 5th time I've done it. It's a pleasure seeing people that knew a little bit about numerology. After taking that course, they're reading their numbers and anybody's numbers fluently. That's my best offer for people wanting to learn numerology. Also, the Master Student Program is another very hands-on and interactive, where it's only a few students, but I'm working with you on establishing altar work, establishing magical practice, establishing meditation, full comprehension of the universal laws and chakras, just building you a strong foundation for you to master spirituality. So look at that. I don't want to do no advertisement like that more than what I have been doing. That wasn't my intention. But look at the interactive workshops if you want something more personable. But also, as far as YouTube, I'm coming back, and I'm coming back hard body. So be prepared. Spiritual mastery, self-awareness, spiritual business. I'm going to show you how to become your own guru, your own master. And if you want to make an impact in this world, how to do it ethically. I take much pride in being a spiritual teacher, helping the planet, help itself, helping people help themselves. But also, this is my business. So this is my livelihood. I'm sovereign. Those want to be sovereign, but don't know how to do it. They're too humble by being in a position that I don't work. I mean, you know what I mean? That I'm able to make an impact according to what everybody else says, not what I say. But I get emails every day of someone saying you help me. So I can only take it for face value. So once again, it ain't what I'm saying, but other people are saying I'm helping them, but I'm also getting help from the universe. I think that's the highest level of godliness, is where you can create something, help other people, help themselves, but also sustain your livelihood based on your work. I think a lot of spiritual people want that in their life, and not too many people are articulating it the way I just did. So I'm going to make sure to make it my business to show people how to do that. All right. So appreciate everybody. It's still like 50-some people here. So yeah, I ain't got nothing else. That's why I just want to answer these questions. I can't really dialogue, so I don't want to keep rambling. So until next time, peace.